Hi, everyone, and welcome to our lesson on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Now, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is great for business B2B businesses because what it does is it can scrape through the over 800 million people on LinkedIn and find your target audience. And then you use that list to begin building relationships. So unlike IG, where you got to start from zero and you can take time and build it up, with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you can start connecting with the right people instantly, as long as you know who that target audience is. And so I'm going to share my screen in a second, and I'm going to show you LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Okay, so here we are on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So this is the home page. You can see if you have a subscription to it, then it'll show you accounts that you follow. You can see decision makers within a certain company that you follow. But what I want to focus in on is building a lead list. And so for that, you're going to use the lead filters. And so you'll come over here to lead filters, and then you'll begin to filter out who's included in your target audience. And as we do this over here and we add more filters, you will see this number go down. So it'll start out up at 800 million, but as we add more filters, that number will go down. A good list to start out with is anywhere from like 1,500 to 2,000. Okay, so current company. So what does that mean? If you are looking for a decision maker within a specific company, you can do it that way. However, the way I've used this is if I want to exclude companies that I've previously worked with. So I have previously had a contract with Galileo Health. I want to exclude them. So I begin typing them in and I hit exclude. I have previously had a contract with CityBlock. So I don't want it to find people, decision makers within CityBlock, because I've already worked with them already. I've already got that relationship built. So I will exclude them there. Oop, I don't want to do Amazon. You can also put in here specific companies that you want to include. So I had went out and did a lot of research on, and I had found like the top 10 startup companies that I really wanted to work with. You can include them. So one of those companies was Boulder Care. So I could put to include them. And as I do that, you can see the list, the amount of people in that list will grow. Okay. The next, is there any past companies? I don't typically use that one. Company head count. So what does the company look like that you are working with? Now, for me, I typically work with small businesses that have more than 50 people, but less than 200. And so I could do that. If you work with smaller companies, you could do 11 to 50, and you can see how that number changes. Now, the reason why this number stayed at 72 is because I only included Boulder Health. I can, if I take Boulder Health out and I'm only excluding Galileo and CityBlock, then you can see that I've got 74 million. So I've got to bring that number down because all of these people are not in my target audience. Next is going to ask you about company type. Now, are you working with publicly traded companies? So companies that are on the stock exchange, privately held companies. So a lot of the companies that I work for are pre-public. So they're in their series A, B, or C rounds of funding. And so I would do privately held. If you are looking to speak at educational institutions, then maybe you do that. If you're looking to find connections at government agencies, so you would choose. So I mainly work with privately held. And you'll see once I click on that, my number of people in my list is probably going to go down. Now I'm at 38 million. Next is company headquarters. So where is the company headquarters that you want to work with? Are you mostly working in North America, United States? So I normally work with companies that are in the United States. And I would click include. And you'll probably see that number come down some more. I'm making my list more manageable. Now I'm down to 12 million people. Now this part is really important. For role, you want to think about who's the decision maker within the company that would bring you in. So for example, for me, For my learning and development, I'm usually working with the human resources or the people team company. And so I could put that in human resources, include them. I work with healthcare. You can include them. It depends on, you know, who is in your audience as well. Maybe their community and social services. So those are the different functions. Who is the, so now I'm down to 1 million people. It's getting a much more manageable list. What's the job title? So for me, in my consulting, that's usually like the chief of people. I've had a coaching client that is in data visualization. Her decision maker is like director of finance or finance manager. If you're in billing, maybe that is director of revenue cycle management. If you're working with small companies, maybe it's the CEO. So I would put, if I put in let's start with human resources. So I'm going to put in human resources director. If you just know the department, you can just start typing it in and then go through the list. Human resources officer, maybe chief people, head of human services, chief people officer. So this is my audience. And so you can see that list is coming down. So I started out with like 12 million. Now I'm at 28,000. So we're getting that list more manageable. Who's exactly in my office, in my audience? Who do I want to be talking to? Seniority level. So usually it is the director or the C-suite that brings me in. Maybe a senior level, but it's normally not entry level. Sometimes it may be the VP, but it's normally like the manager or the training department. So I've got director level, senior leadership, C-suite, and VP. So that brought my list down a little bit more. You can also add in here years within the company. So do you want, you know, they give you less than a year, 1 to 2 years, years in their position? Do you want somebody that is very new to a chief of people role, or are you open to someone, or you want someone who's very seasoned? Other categories, you can filter by their activities or experiences, keywords that are in their post. So say if I was really looking to meet with people who were talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, I could put those as keywords and it would search through these people's posts and find me the people who are talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Over here under personal, you can actually filter out for first degree connections. So those are people that you know specifically. Second degree would be you have one mutual friend, so you are a friend of a friend, group members, and third plus degree connections. It's always great to start with those first and second degrees and then work your way out. Geography, if you wanted to narrow it down by location. So I wanted to work in the United States, but what if I wanted to focus on people that were in North Carolina, right? Then I could just include them. Or if I wanted to focus on people that were in North Carolina and South Carolina only. Check out United States. So now if I just did North Carolina and South Carolina, I say I'm down to 800 people. That's a little bit of a small list. But so say I'm focusing on the Southeast, I could add in Georgia. I could add in Florida. Maybe I wanted to add in Virginia. Spelled that wrong. Maybe I wanted to add in DC, Tennessee. So, I mean, this is up to you. So like now I'm at, what am I at now? 4,000 plus. I could break that down. Maybe I really don't want to go to Tennessee. So now I'm at 35. This is still a rather big list to begin with, but you can start there. You can go in and refine some of these as well. So say I don't want to do the 11 to 50. I want to focus on that 51 to 200. That's where my sweet spot is. That may bring it down. So it brought it down to 2,500. Now I'm really within that range of a good list to start with. Now, you could also add in here industry. So say I only want to work with those in hospital and healthcare. And I may even take out function. some of those functions. Oops, industry, health, wellness, and fitness. What else, now? Let's see what else comes up when I put health in here. Mental health. You can see a behavioral health. So this is my audience, behavioral health. Let's see what else comes up. And I may have to go out and expand this because now I've made my list a little bit small. I only got 186 people. So I have to go back and review my list. And for my geography, maybe I go back to United States. And let's see what that looks like. So you have to play around with it a little bit. So now I'm at 1,000 people in my list. And so what I would do with this list is a couple of different things. Now, LinkedIn Sales Navigator does not allow you to export the list. There is a way to do this. You can do it with something called Phantom Buster. If you need help with that, please reach out to me. But what you would do if you had your own Sales Navigator account is then you would just begin to click on these people. It will save this search. So you can save the search and name it. I'm just going to name this one Dion Test Search, right? And save the search. And then all I have to do is now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going through here and connecting with these people. I am going to send them a connection message that is personalized. And then again, my content is going to support positioning me as the expert. And now I'm starting out with 1,000+ people that I can reach out to that meet my target audience for my consulting company. So that is LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Very, very basic understanding of it. Once you come and you pull your list, then you need to have written out, templated out what your strategy is as you connect with people. So email number 1 looks like your introduction. It may be email number 2 is asking them a question about what's challenging them. It's all about creating relationships. And so that's what you're going to do. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. If you are not ready to purchase LinkedIn Sales Navigator, if you book a discovery call with me, then I will give you, as a part of that discovery call, a LinkedIn Sales Navigator list. So that's LinkedIn Sales Navigator. See y'all in the next video. Okay.